Are you interested in conspiracies, aliens, the Illuminati, Planet X, or how about some hard rock and heavy metal? If you want to believe, then come tune in to the craziest show in the mountains, Manny's Rockin Conspiracies, Sundays at 6 p.m. on Power 90.5.
You know them, you love them, we got them.
Say you want a revolution. Slow ride. Take it easy. Dream on, dream on.
Western Carolina's classic rock station, Power 90.5.
Does the rain have you down? Well, let's brighten your day with conspiracies and supernatural, with a little dash of hard rock and heavy metal. Don't touch that dial. It's time for the craziest show in the mountains. Right between the Great Smoky and mountains of Western Carolina University in Cullowhee. It's time for the craziest show in the mountains. I am talking none other than Manny's Rockin Conspiracies, broadcasting throughout Jackson and Haywood Counties and worldwide on WWCUFM.com. I'm Manny, your host. Welcome again to the craziest show in the mountains. And it is a rainy, little drowsy, but let's brighten up your February 17th, 2019, a beautiful, beautiful Sunday evening. I'm joined with another guest, unfortunately not Chandler Reese, known for telling me how to take a alien to court for a hit and run. I'm joined by Dan from The Edge, whose show was not on the air due to athletics in the way. Dan, how you doing?
Doing well, brother. Thank you.
I knew you'd come. I do have a lot of guests. I knew you'd come.
I'd have to support you.
You have
I'm
to.
here for your support.
You've brought conspiracies my way, and I think we have planned that. It's from the movie The Circle, so we'll get into that later on in the program. There's a lot, and I mean a lot that's been happening. I was browsing the subreddit conspiracy, and I found things such as how the Illuminati loves the number pi. Pi is delicious, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the number pi. 3.14? 3.14.
3.14.
We'll also be talking about the CIA allegedly on early writing stages on several TV and film productions into the thousands, as released by WikiLeaks. Also talk about an alleged memo sent out by Princess Diana before her untimely passing, and plenty other conspiracy theories. It's going to be a fun weekend. How's your weekend been, Dan?
Lots of meat to choose on. My weekend's been pretty good. Me and Manny happen to share a few classes, and one of the ones that we have together is Radio Production 2.
Yes.
And I had to do that assignment and get it in as soon as I could. So it's not due until morning, but it's all good.
Oh, it's gonna be very good. I'm actually very excited about that assignment. So, while I'm over here, I did something that came up on Reddit that I want to look into. It's called Celebrity News Distraction. I posted something similar to this on here before, and I thought I explained a little since I've been thinking about it a lot. I theorized that all this news and this about celebrities is meant to be a white noise to distract us from the real news. I've seen a dramatic increase in posts about celebrities from various pages on social media, like Cardi B, whatnot, and Lady Gaga getting a tattoo. Meanwhile, Donald Trump just declared an national emergency about his wall. Coincidence? Maybe, maybe not. Also, there are a bunch of articles about Ellen Page and Chris Pratt and his church, while a certain type of group were still rampant in Hollywood. The more I think about this, the more like it becomes. You know, this reminded me of something, Dan. Do you know who Jonathan Davis is?
I am not familiar with that name.
He is the lead singer of the band Korn and recently a solo album. He one day went on the Alex Jones show. They call me the Meme Machine. Yeah, I'm not telling you. Jonathan Davis went on the Alex Jones show. Nice. Jonathan Davis, ladies and gentlemen. Disclaimer, I love Jonathan Davis. He is amazing. But he talked about how, do you know when Miley Cyrus,
did her thing?
Did her thing at the VMAs.
Yes, I think everybody knows about
that.
I
think people, So Jonathan Davis claimed on the Alex Jones show that that was meant to distract us as President Obama signed this certain law into power and gave himself dictatorial powers. So I guess Miley Cyrus doing something at the VMAs is distracting us from
What's actually going on behind the curtain?
The sad thing is Obama never signed that at all. So,
Well then,
Jonathan, I don't know what happened, man. I don't know what happened.
we still love you, brother.
I respect you, Dan. I respect you. Hats off to you, sir. Hats off to you. Also on the program, we'll discuss more on the odd Twitter posts of Jose Canseco, a former baseball player, claiming that we are in communication with aliens. But first, let's get started with the music. Earlier this week, I found out that my father was in Stuttgart, Germany for 2 weeks. And Dan, do you want to know how I found out about this?
Sure.
I forgot that he was going to Germany. I didn't. So this is what happened. I was trying to call my dad on the phone number I have for him. And I think it was after I got out of class Tuesday. I keep getting these unknown number calls. And I'm thinking, oh, is the NSA calling me? Is the CIA come and tell me, listen, we heard your conspiracies about taking the alien to court, and listen, we understand. We're gonna find that alien, take him to court, and charge him with hit and run. I was thinking that, and then the number gets better, and I tell him the number in Stuttgart, Germany. I of course am confused, so I pick up the phone, and I'm like, hello, and I'm like, who is this? This is your father. Dad, when did you go to Germany?
Right.
I completely forgot. My dad was going to Germany for 2 weeks.
Surprise, surprise.
I know. You never know. But in honor of my father being in Germany, beautiful, beautiful Stuttgart, Germany, I thought I'd play something out of Germany by the industrial metal group Rammstein. And what better that while my dad is in Germany, we're all living in America. You're listening to Manny's Rockin Conspiracies on WWCU-FM, the broadcast service of Western Carolina University. Power 90.5. Welcome back to Manny's Rockin Conspiracies here on WWCU Cullowhee. Power 90.5. Joined again by Dan from The Edge.
Howdy, howdy.
Now, when I found this conspiracy, Dan, on Reddit, I had a good laugh for about 2 minutes, all right? Mm-hmm. So let me read you this conspiracy. Just give you the title. The Illuminati loves the number pi.
Right.
Pi. Pi is the center of the conspiracy of the reverse Great Seal. The seal tell you to look at the first 15 digits of pi, and the Eye of Ra is hidden in them, as well as the dimension of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Now, I would not have been able to find this knowledge without languages such as Roman numerals, English, and Romanian, but these languages had to be created. I propose that the Illuminati created them to explain the mysteries of Egypt and other ancient sites on the ancient equator. So let me. So
Go ahead.
The Illuminati created the Roman numerals. What?
Wow.
That's what it's saying. I propose that the Illuminati created created them. Right into the Roman numerals.
So, if that was the case,
Yes.
then the Illuminati are actually ancient Egyptians. Right?
That's a possibility. That's a possibility. I know it is before Pi Day, but I wanted to get this out of here there before that day comes, so you have something else to talk about. I appreciate any input, and I know you can find anything in pi, but I am only using the first 15 decimals, so my translation is severely limited. I don't know what to say.
So maybe for some of our listeners who are not completely understanding what pi stands for, can you maybe break it down just a little bit?
So pi is an old Greek number. Basically, in standard mathematics, it basically is 3.14159265359, and it keeps going and going. That's why it is simplified in most classes to 3.14. This is a numerology conspiracy, which is a conspiracy I was telling Dan before I hopped in the studio I love talking about. There's a conspiracy that I remember. It was about Dale Earnhardt, number one on the racetrack always. And it was a conspiracy that he faked his death in the 2001 Daytona 500. And obviously that's not true. But it was like, so Dale Earnhardt equals 111, but you know what else equals 111? New York. You see what happened in 2001, right?
Right.
In the words of Lois Griffin, 9, 11. And then it was like, well, Jeff Gordon equals Satan because Satan equals 56 and Gordon equals 56. It's like, it makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
I mean, people just try. Sometimes, like, there's legit conspiracies I always find, like JFK. That is one that a lot of people believe in. MK Ultra,
Area 51.
Area 51. There's a lot of like legitimate conspiracies to look into. But sometimes I always see that people just look for conspiracies in just random places.
Yes.
Can I find a conspiracy in NASCAR? Can I find a conspiracy in my next door neighbor? Well, my next neighbor was law on the 31st, on the 11th of March, because 11 is an evil number. That means he's part of the Illuminati. Because he Moses on the 11th day of the 11th hour, the 11th day. It makes no sense. It makes total sense. He's in the Illuminati. If you got any questions about what's been talked on the show, you get Rickham to give us a call at 828-227-7173 again. 828-227-7173 with any, and I mean any comments.
We are open to hearing what you may have to say.
Hey, I mean, I got lots of great calls. Like one caller mentioned that she went to Mars and found that there was Obama was there and there was water on there, and her name was Eve, and that's why there's Adam and Eve in the Bible. And I'm like, well, thank you for your call.
There you go.
Any calls are welcome. They will not afford to be transmitted on the air, unfortunately.
Not.
Unfortunately. So, this is a song. I'd like to do this for my British friend who lives in Tennessee right now. From Blur, this is song number 2, which is on this CD. Song number 2. You're listening to Manny's Rockin Conspiracies on WWCU FM, Power 90.5. That was Blind by Korn. You're listening to Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies here on WWCU Cullowhee, the broadcast service of Western Carolina University, streaming live on WWCUFM.com. I'm Manny, joined again by Dan from The Edge. And Dan wanted to talk about something from the movie The Circle. Could you explain what The Circle is before you go on, sir?
Yes, sir. So, The Circle is a movie that Tom Hanks was actually starred in.
Okay.
And it basically, there's a young lady and she gets hired by the Circle.
Yes.
Quote unquote. And when they hire her, she goes and lives on the campus that the Circle has.
Okay.
So she also has, they require her to like carry a tablet around with her and check in every so often and do chats and go to events and this and that and the other thing. So it's very, very interesting.
That sounds a lot like, like everyone's going to live in a communal home or something like that. So what was the big deal with The Circle? Why did you bring it up to me exactly?
Well, The Circle, basically, if you talk to not conspiracy theorists per se, but if you talk to certain individuals, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's totally about Google."
Really?
And how Google like monitors everything and how they have a big campus and everybody is like family on the campus and everybody's like connected and they have to participate, live on campus, et cetera, and so forth.
Okay, so I see. You got an article pulled up right there. 6 ways. So can you read that? Can you read that for me real quick, if you don't mind? Okay.
Yeah. It says 6 ways that Big Brother, quote unquote, technology is in the Circle is already happening.
Really? So could you give us an example of some technology that's already happening?
Let's see what they say here. Such is the fate that befalls the Circle, a new drama based on Dave Edgar's 2013 novel. The movie stars Tom Hanks, Emin Bailey, I'm not sure, I'm probably obliterating her name, a Steve Jobs-esque tech CEO, and Emma Watson as May, a freshman employee at the Circle who gets in over her head. Only problem is, the scariest parts of the Circle are already happening. Let's explore, they say. And so, just to kind of go over really basic stuff, like there's a picture on here, Emma Watson, and they have her in front of her workstation, and there's a tablet there, and there's like a little application which is monitoring her productivity and whether she's interacting with her other circle family members and things like that. So
This is getting a little interesting. Go on.
and Tom Hanks is, of course, the star, and he is like the CEO, I guess, of Google per se. And so the logo for the circle, an Apple, Google, Facebook hybrid company, is the circle with a line sliced out of it. Funny, that's almost exactly the same Uber replacement its old logo with early last year. Just flip 180 degrees. So
This is getting
how
very
about
interesting.
that? Not only is the movie possibly Google-esque, but Uber falls in there as well.
It's all starting to get connected to everything and everyone. That's very unique. That's very, very unique. And you reminded me of a story that I found earlier today, that WikiLeaks posted this, and it was posted onto Medium.com. Basically, Tom Secker and Matthew Alford, through a Freedom of Information Act, found that the Pentagon and the CIA have shown that the U.S. government has worked behind the scenes on over 800 major movies and more than 1,000 TV titles.
Wow.
And in 2005, it was around 600. And originally it was supposed to be not that much. And here's just an example. I'll read this example we have in the article. John Voight in Transformers. In this scene, just after American troops have been attacked by a Decepticon robot, Pentagon Hollywood liaison Phil Strubb inserted the line, "Bring 'em home," granting the military a protective paternalistic quality, when in reality the DoD was quite the opposite. And they mention a lot of details.
I think Transformers is a good one to put in there.
Also, if some movies get rejected by the Pentagon, like there was never a Top Gun 2 or anything like that. There have been Moonlight rejected from military experiments on human subjects. There's been a lot of stuff, like one of the ones that I thought was from the movie Hulk in 2003. They basically acquired a dossier when they were making Hulk in 2003 that detailed changes in the script. Basically, when the Hulk is created in a non-military facility, it changes the code name of the military and operation to capture from Ranch Hand to Angry Man. That's because Ranch Hand is the name of a real military operation. That's all the U.S. Air Force dumped millions of gallons of pesticides and other poison onto the Vietnamese countryside, rendering millions of acres of farmland poison and infertile. And it's a long article, but it's very unique just seeing that. It's just, what is this? It's very amazing.
Very amazing, yes, absolutely.
If you have a question on anything brought up in the show, you can contact us at 828-227-7173. Got a request? A conspiracy of your own? Give us a call again, 828-227-7173. Well, on break, I was looking through the various amounts of CDs that Dan has, and one I found was from Blink 182, the wonderful release of Enema of the State. Very, very well done album. But there's a song on there I never knew called Aliens Exist. And we wrote into the lyrics, and Dan immediately said, that fits your show perfectly.
Absolutely.
So, right from Blink 182, this is Aliens Exist. You're listening to the craziest show in the mountains, Manny's Rockin Conspiracies, here on WWCU FM, Power 90.5. That was Feel Good Inc. by Gorillaz. Another thing from my British friend who may or may not be 2D. I don't know. We'll find out later on. This is Manny's Rockin' Conspiracy, run again by Dan from The Edge.
Hey, hey.
Now, we were looking at this story during break, and I had a little bit of a chuckle over it. This is in a high school in Bhimtal, India. Basically, a few weeks ago, it's the publishing of this article on February 19th, not 19th, it was the 12th of February. Basically, a teenage girl did a lot of bizarre activities, such as breaking chairs and shouting loudly. When some of her concerned classmates attempted to help the troubled teenager, they also began exhibiting similar bizarre behavior. Basically, 5 girls remained possessed for the next 3 or 4 days, And what happened was they turned to a local practitioner by magic called Jagar, or Jagger, Jagar, which is described as a form of ancestor spirit worship. They performed a ritual, which cast out the dark forces in these girls. However, a member of the educational board has called for an investigation into the case. So, it's an odd one, you know. I've never myself encountered anyone possessed by the devil. Never encountered that.
Been quite a while.
Yeah, it's been quite a while. In all seriousness, I could see this happening in a lot of regions. I remember there was a story out in Russia where it was a wintry day, and of course it's Russia because it's a wintry day there.
Of course.
Basically, the citizens of the town, they woke up and then there's all these like dolls, like human sized, all around their town.
Like mannequins?
Sort of like that, you know. It was like they wake up and they're like, why are all these dolls here? And they actually got scared. And there's a lot of odd instances, like especially in like your Southeast Asian countries where they have possession, you know, like there's possessions going on because of the kind of religions going on there. It's very interesting. And it's interesting what people will go, like they won't call like, oh, the police. They'll call someone that's a local practitioner of some magic.
Right.
It's like calling a psychic like, what is the future? What will happen? Getting Uri Geller to bend a spoon. That's a guy I've not met. So you know who Uri Geller is?
Uri Geller?
Uri Geller.
Uri Geller, no.
He was a person from Israel who was a claimed psychic that could bend metal. But there was a guy in Canada called James Randi. And he was a magician called the Amazing Randy. And he proved that, like, some of the things that he could do was from, like, give an example. He had a thing where he would bend the spoon, like he would rub the spoon, rub the key like this and make the key bend. But you'd have to do it. You have to, like, press the key on the table and then start bending it. So he proved that, like, you could do it under a simple magic trick. So
interesting.
It's amazing when people go to psychics or local practitioners, some odd religion or
what about like
magic.
like Benny Hinn? Are you familiar with Benny Hinn?
I am not. Go on.
He's like this amazing like Christian healer, faith healer type of person.
Yes.
And I'm not sure exactly what happened to him. He's not on the scene anymore. But back in the day, he was like going around, quote unquote, healing just about anybody and everybody who were sick, supposedly. And I'm not sure, but I think he may have been in a situation that was not cool.
Psychics and people like that, they interest me a lot because of like the claims that they make is like, I'm getting a vibe. I'm getting an M and a D. I'm getting a J and an M. Is there a James or a Jimmy? Is there a James or a Jimmy listening to Manny's Rockin Conspiracies right now? Is there happening right now? But yes, we're talking about psychics. We're getting into the danger zone, if you will, because James Randy, we're here. Oh my goodness. You're listening to Manny's Rockin Conspiracies. Here is Danger Zone. It's the 7 o'clock Numa here on Manny's Rockin Conspiracies on Power 90.5. Welcome again to the craziest show in the mountains. I'm joined again by Dan from the Edge.
Howdy.
Yes, and I've been watching the live updates from Daytona, and why can't this race just end? Everybody has to wreck. You guys don't know. I'm a big NASCAR fan. I have 2 NASCAR diecast in the studio right now. 2 from Dale Jr. Praise Dale. Yeah, praise Dale. Praise Dale all the way.
As you can see.
They both are from Daytona, so they make sense. But the races have been hectic. Like the truck race, only 9 trucks finished the race. Everybody was wrecking like, oh, are you wrecking again? Stop wrecking. Stop wrecking.
How many do they start out with?
So in trucks, it's 32 trucks.
Wow, that's a lot.
And there's a lot of big truck wrecks at times because, I mean, when they're racing all bunched up together because of the kind of track it is, Daytona and Talladega. They're both restrictor plate tracks. They're all bunched up together in the draft. The biggest one was about 32 cars, and that was in a race in 2002. That was crazy because everybody was out, and there was only, I think, 3 cars running at the finish of that race.
Wow.
But off of NASCAR, it's a crazy race right now. They just went under caution again. And I'm just like, guys, please. But there's a person that I've mentioned this program before. I was telling Dan about him. Jose Canseco.
Canseco, yes.
Jose Canseco was a former baseball player, best known for his time on the Oakland Athletics, or the Oakland A's. He's made, as I've mentioned before, a lot of big headlines for tweeting out that he traveled in the future that the Rams win, and that then afterwards he was keeping the alien off payroll. Well, Coast to Coast AM managed to talk to Mr. Canseco, and he gave an explanation, basically.
And?
Yes, and some of it was always just being very, very eccentric. However, he has offered his followers the chance.
Followers, you say?
To play golf with him and to meet Bigfoot and an alien. It costs $5,000, however, so... I mean, you're going to get people, I'll show you Bigfoot.
I mean, if you really want to be Bigfoot, all you got to do is go to Washington State and camp out.
Oh, Washington State is like the best known place for Bigfoot. There's an old 911 call recording about a guy. He called because he saw something come up on his sensor, and then his dog was killed. Like his dog was like flung over the fence.
Wow.
And when he's calling, he then freaks out, and the operator's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "That person is about 6'9". I don't know. What's he doing, sir? He's looking at me." And he doesn't say it's a person. It's just a real big thing. And it is regarded by a lot of Bigfoot enthusiasts as the best known evidence of Bigfoot. But Jose Canseco, back to him, has tweeted out some very, very interesting stuff, like stay away from Bitcoin. It will go up 8%, then rapidly drop 33%. That's referring to the cryptocurrency Bitcoin. If I were president, I would give citizenship to aliens and Bigfoot. Well, you know what this means? You know what this means, Dan?
What exactly does this mean, Manny?
Let me explain a little bit. Last week on the program, we talked about a guy who claimed that an alien, a UFO precisely, rolled his car over on the highway.
Right.
And we asked Chandler Reese, who was here last week, how would you take an alien to court? Well, let me explain this to you. If we're giving aliens U.S. citizenship, United States citizenship, we are giving them the opportunity to be presented with an arrest warrant. We now have, if Jose Canseco
is listening,
ran for president, if he's listening to, I want to talk to you. But like, think of it like this. We have to revoke the aliens' charter and their straw man. Don't tell the alien about Earth custom. Then make the alien think he has to go to prison. He has to go to not prison, to court.
Right.
But if Jose Canseco made aliens U.S. citizens, then we wouldn't have to worry about that, because now we could say, Mr. Gray Alien living in Oakland, California, here is your arrest warrant. You appear to be in court on this day. He also tweeted out, what did the alien say when he first met a human being? It's a very odd video. I can't play it on the radio. It wouldn't sound good. But it's like, what are you doing? He's also offered, like I said, Bigfoot and alien excursions. Like, here's one tweet. Come spend the day with me and my alien buddies. I'll show you Bigfoot and a real alien. And calls to contact his manager. Some of it is like questions about baseball, which maybe he was a baseball player.
Of course. Makes sense.
He's a baseball player. Also, he said that one other way to live 30 years longer is we are intaking way too much food. Cut down your food intake by half.
That's quite a lot of food not to be eating.
Yeah, I mean, the daily average is 2,000 calories. And, of course, that varies on what you do. If you're bodybuilding or anything like that, you're going to have a lot more than that. New bodies will come with optional android or robotic moving parts. So I guess we'll all have like robotic hand, like Anakin Skywalker.
Just like in Alita, the Battle Angel. What is
Alita, the Battle Angel? Go on.
It's a character. It's a comic book character actually, and she is a cyborg, And for those who have not seen the movie yet, if you're a fanboy or fangirl of Alita, it is totally worth it. But she is basically a cyborg, like part human, mostly a robot, and she is a battle droid for all practical purposes.
Yeah, I think we may be closer to having battle droids in our army if we're not careful with how this is changing. But yes, Jose Canseco is offering some very interesting stuff. Some of which I can't talk about on the radio because it's a bit vulgar. But you know, it's just how it is. If you're curious about what Jose Canseco offers and what questions you have for me and Dan, give us a call at 828-227-7173. Again, 828-227-7173. We'll get back to the music. This Fire Burns by Killswitch Engagers, the first song I ever played on this show.
Nice.
It's a history. It's a very fun song. Anyway, you're listening to Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies on WWCU FM, Power 98.5. Welcome back to Manny's Rockin' Conspiracies here on WWCU Cullowhee, Power 90.5. I'm joined by Dan.
Howdy.
Who is on the edge. Hopefully you'll get to hear his show, which normally is on Thursdays, 8 to 10 p.m. here on WWCU Power 90.5. Dan, do you know who Princess Diana is?
I have a vague recollection, yes.
Just to give a brief synopsis, Princess Diana Diana, Princess of Wales, was a very, very well-known figure. She was the Princess of Wales, of course. She was married at the time to Prince Charles.
Yes.
Yeah, Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales. She unfortunately was murdered on 31st of August, 1997, while in a limousine with her boyfriend, Dodi Al-Fayed. And since her unfortunate passing, there have been conspiracy theories about her deaths.
Like
that MI6, basically the UK equivalent of the CIA, were behind it. It's barely been propagated by Dodi's father, Mohammed Al-Fayed, who believes that the MI6 had an involvement in it. It was to the point where Mohammed Fayed made a memorial to them in basically a British department store called Harrods called Innocent Victims, because he believes they were murdered by MI6.
Did he? I seem to vaguely remember that. Was it possible that he asked for or started an investigation?
He did, and if I actually pull my page back up right here, there have been multiple investigations that try to say that there was a criminal conspiracy on the death of Diana. A French investigator, it's been a very complicated, because in 1999, a French investigation concluded that Diana died as a result and that the paparazzi were some distance when it crashed. However, in 2008, returned a verdict of unlawful killing by driver Henry Paul, and the paparazzi were pursuing the car. The jury's verdict also stated, in addition, the death of the deceased was caused or contributed by the fact that the deceased were not wearing a seatbelt, and by the fact that the Mercedes struck the pillar in the Alma Tunnel rather than colliding with another or something else. They have been disputed in the Daily Express and by mainly Mohammed Al-Fayed. There's been a lot of allegations that MI6 were involved, and that the BBC claimed that the driver was working for security services, and one of Diana's bodyguards was a contact for British intelligence. And Richard Tomlinson, who was a former MI6 officer, said that the MI6 was monitoring Diana before her death and had told Mohammed Al-Fayed that Paul was an MI6 agent, and that her death mirrored plans he saw in 1992 for the assassination of then-president of Serbia, Slobodan Milosevic, using a strobe light to blind his chauffeur.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very complicated, but one source I found browsing through Reddit stated from a documentary was called Unlawful Killing. It was made by Muhammad Al-Fayed, who was the father of Dodi.
Right.
And there's what it says. Perhaps you have heard about a remarkably slow treatment that Diana had straight after the accident. That she was left sitting in the back of an undamaged back of the car for over half an hour, and the ambulance driver waited over half an hour before setting off to hospital, eventually arriving over an hour and a half at the hospital. But basically, Diana actually made this note to her butler in October of 1995. This is a quote from it. It was kept secret for a long time. My husband is planning an accident in my car, brake failure, and serious head injury. It's rather interesting. I'm not giving any conclusions. You all are willing to make your own conclusion as to what happened to Princess Diana of Wales and Dodi Al-Fayed.
And what was the year that this happened again?
It happened in
actual accident?
1997.
Okay.
I was not a thing yet. I was not there yet. I was not there yet. So it's one of those conspiracies I never really looked into at all. So that's a first.
There you go.
What do you know? If you have any questions about what is brought up on this program, have anything, you can call us at 828-227-7173. Again, 828-227-7173. Dan can be found at The Edge Radio Show with Dan on Instagram. And that Facebook page is the same username, correct?
Same username, The Edge Radio Show with Dan.
Very good, very good. And you can find me and what I'm doing on campus at Manny Radio Dirk on Instagram under that very, very same name. Before I go, when we come back, I should say, actually, because we're running out of time. We got to go for station identification. We'll play a little bit of a long song, American Pie. I love that song.
Awesome.
One of my favorites. It's on. I'm going to play a little bit of a softer song in this program, but when we come back, we'll talk about what YouTube is doing to my channel that I'm not really happy about.
And you're not the only one.
Yes. I'll explain what's going on in a second. But first, station identification and American Pie. You're listening to the craziest show in the mountains, Manny's Rockin Conspiracies on WWCU, Cullowhee Power 90.5.